Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On this week's episode, we're covering from 1982, Rambo.
Is it Rambo or is it First Blood?
Ooh.
I guess we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll find out. We hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, leave that 5-star rating on Spotify, on Apple. You can leave a written review and sit back, relax, and enjoy from 1982, Rambo. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review.
Where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden. And be kind. Rewind.
Hey, Dave, what do you have over there? The V.C.R. Absolutely.
This is your pick, Matt.
Yes, it is. It's First Blood.
It is. Thank you, Matt. Indeed, it is First Blood. It is interesting to me specifically just because I've seen this happen in other movies where people will just call it, they assume the first one includes the name of the lead character. No, the name of this movie is in fact First Blood.
Wow,
The name Rambo was not incorporated to any other name of the movies until the second and thereafter.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. So when it first came out, it was just called First Blood.
Correct.
No Rambo at all.
Not at all.
It wasn't until he became the star.
How, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it. And I think I know where you might be going next, Matt.
No, just saying that John and I were just talking about that. Then they started saying, oh, it's Rambo, First Blood Part 2.
You were talking to John Rambo?
No.
John J. Rambo.
John J. Zap.
Do you know what the J is for?
What?
Jerk off. Jackass.
No, I didn't know. I just thought somebody would know.
Is it John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt?
It might
His
be.
name is Rambo too.
So this happens all the time. Well, obviously not all the time, but it happened with Indiana Jones. The first Indiana Jones movie, which we will cover someday, is called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep.
That's it. The name Indiana Jones is nowhere in the title of that movie. It was not until Temple of Doom and thereafter that they started calling them Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Dr. Jones.
Yeah. How about that?
How about Cash Me Outside?
That's it.
How about that?
Well, we'll get into this one. So we have First Blood.
That's right.
Yeah, rated R.
There we are.
This is rated R. No shock there. Release date on this, October 22nd, 1982, with a running time of 93 minutes. That's perfect. Perfect runtime, in my opinion.
You don't see that anymore.
No.
Look at the Oscars this year. The running times were like 3 hours and 20 minutes.
I know.
That's a perfect amount of time for this movie, too.
For this movie, it's perfect. This was directed by Ted Kochev. Screenplay by Michael Cazole, William Sackheim, Sacky, and Sylvester Stallone. I guess he was involved in that. This is based on a book by David Morrell, First Blood, produced by Buzz Feitshans. Man, these are some tough names. Man.
Believe that.
Yeah.
Buzz Fight Chimes.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like something for your
some German
for your
dude.
like some foot care product.
Yeah, it's a good one. Buzz Fight Shines. I like that. Budget on this, $15 million. Box office, $125.2 million.
Hi-oh.
Dang. Juice is worth the squeeze on that.
First Blood.
That's a lot of ammo.
Dang.
So as far as where this was filmed, it's supposed to take place in Hope, Washington, which is like a fictitious town.
Yep.
Actually, they filmed it in British Columbia.
Yep.
And
thanks, Canada.
Fraser Valley. And they started filming November 15th of 81 and concluded April of 1982.
Damn, they were filming in the cold.
Big time.
Like, for damn sure it was cold.
Yeah.
Huh.
Vancouver, that's right. Vancouver, British Columbia. That's like west coast of Canada, correct?
I thought it was East Coast.
Maybe it is. I don't know. We have to ask one of our Canadian friends.
Yeah, poor Rambo. Like most of this time, he's just in like a T-shirt in this movie. That comes into play later on in the movie, though.
It definitely
actually.
will.
Yeah,
definitely will. So
wait, Vancouver. Vancouver's left.
Yeah, West Coast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There it is. West Coast.
Pretty sure that we came up on another one. We asked that question. I think Nutley Nick, of all people, set us straight on that. We were talking about Bon Jovi and the studios and stuff like that. So.
Of course, it takes Nutley Nick to know factoids about Canada.
For sure.
or Bon Jovi.
Or Bon Jovi.
That's Nutley.
Who's not in this movie.
But thank you, Nutley Nick. Thank you.
As always. So I guess that's it for that. I'll turn it over to Zap for the cast.
All right. The cast of First Blood includes, but is not limited to, Sylvester Stallone as John J. Rambo, Richard Crenna as Colonel Samuel Troutman, Brian Dennehy as Sheriff William Teasel, Bill McKinney as Captain Dave Kern, Jack Starrett as Deputy Sergeant Arthur Galt, Michael Talbot as Deputy Balford, Chris Mulkey as Deputy Ward, Alf Humphreys as Deputy Lester, David Caruso as Deputy Mitch Rogers, Don McKay as Deputy Preston, David Crowley as Deputy Shingleton, Patrick Stack as Lieutenant Clinton Morgan, and John McCleam as Orville Kellerman.
Yeah, that David Caruso, he's from like CSI, right?
Mhm.
Like CSI.
Yeah, he's been on
Miami or
there
whatever.
forever.
Yeah,
Yep.
I recognize him in the movie then.
Yep.
The red
Yeah.
hair.
A lot of deputies.
Rambo shot the sheriff.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But as we'll find out, he did not shoot any deputies.
No deputies.
No deputies.
Yes, very good.
Exactly.
So, speaking of the movie First Blood, John J. Rambo, I remember like my dad, like his action heroes. Us growing up, we remember Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who was the guy from Death Wish? He looked
Charles
like
Bronson.
Bronson. Yeah, he looked like all my dad's friends growing up.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but
It was the mustache.
yeah, but he was like their action hero at the time. For
Charles
us,
Bronson was.
yeah, for like when my dad,
Mhm.
as he was getting like probably a little younger than our age,
Right.
but it's just Arnold and Stallone are the only ones that really stick out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, those are still the guys that I think of as action heroes. Or like
No.
any of these guys now that they want to push off as like action
Or
heroes.
John Cena.
Yeah. I mean,
No.
he's all right.
Bruce
I mean,
Willis,
and
a
The
little
Rock,
bit.
whatever. They're okay. Bruce Willis, but he's more back in that era of Die Hard. That's in the 80s.
Right.
Mhm.
When you
That's
talk-
what I'm saying, like that 80s time. Like,
You're right.
Even Harrison Ford, I can't
No.
I can't call him an action hero.
No,
like he was
no,
sure
no.
actiony in Indiana Jones, but if like you ever watch him, so he does all of his own stunts. When you watch him move around and do whatever he does, he's not really coordinated. Like
No.
he's just not an actiony guy.
No, not to me. He's not.
but I don't think like the Indiana Jones weren't very like in how we're thinking of like the action movies then. Like he like
Right.
all the explosions, the guns firing everywhere. His was more of like a Disney type.
Yeah, these guys, Stallone, that era, it's always for me will be like the action stars.
Sure.
But I'm trying to think Stallone, Arnold, and who else was there?
There was
Was there-
Bronson. There was Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
I mean,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we could sit down and go over all that, but there's a ton of them. Now, I know my dad was a big James Cagney fan. That's old school.
Nah, sure.
It is.
Yeah, sorry. But that's old school. But yeah, I guess that's it for the cast. So why don't we turn it over to Matt for the Betamax
I see that
copy
Betamax
of
copy.
the
What?
back cover? Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
switch it up.
Look at Betamax.
Yeah, check that out.
That is cool.
Check it.
It's actually First Blood. I can read really, really well because it's very large print.
Yeah.
The rest I might have to put on me glasses. First Blood. Giving his toughest performances since Rocky, Sylvester Stallone stars as a larger-than-life super warrior in this gutsy action thriller filmed in the wilds of Western Canada. He plays an ex-Green Beret, a peacetime misfit haunted by memories of Vietnam. Falling foul of an overzealous small-town sheriff, all hell is let loose as he goes on the run in the life-or-death manhunt that ensues. He will need his old skills to stay alive and outwit his pursuers, the sheriff, his posse, and more than 200 National Guardsmen. First Blood.
Nice.
That's pretty much the movie right there.
That's
That's
the
it,
whole movie.
man.
That's, yeah. You guys should give it a watch.
Fun fact: within the past week or so was the first time I've ever seen First Blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a goddamn
No,
shame.
I saw what, First Blood 2 or first actually it is First Blood Part 2.
Right.
But Rambo : First Blood Part 2.
Right. Now,
How-
I did see this back in the day, but I remembered none of it.
Right.
So it was for me the same thing, like kind of watching it over again.
Not to be confused with Hot Shots Part 2.
That's
now, that
right.
one I did see in the
Yes,
theater.
that was fantastic.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was an animal.
Yeah.
That was great.
I love those comedy, like
Tiger Blood.
Tiger Blood. Winning.
Winning.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we want to make our way through this?
Yeah.
Let's
do
hop
it.
into it.
All right. So for my first time, this was actually quite good. Like I enjoyed the shit out of it.
It was great.
Yeah, I loved it.
But you said like everything with the way it's filmed, even like that, it gives you a little bit of the like chill where it's in the cold. The length, the running time on this, perfect for a movie like this. It's just a fun watch.
It is. P.S. I wish I had Stallone's hair.
Oh, that hair.
His head of just that feathered hair was awesome. God, I wish I had that.
We could have pulled that off 20 years ago, but the hairline's gonna hurt it.
Right.
It could have worked. No, for me.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Maybe 30 years ago for me, but oh well.
You could still grow the back long, I think.
Yeah. Hey, mullets are coming. Wait, no, that's
that wouldn't be a mullet. No.
He'd be like the neighbor from Office Space.
No, it wouldn't be
hair.
a mullet. I would just cut the sides and the top, and then the back grows out. That's a mullet, right?
No,
is
you
a
would just keep
mullet.
it exactly how it is. Just comb it, like just let it grow like that, and just pull it back.
Maybe if I let the back grow out, I'll comb it all forward, like from the neckline all the way up, and
Yeah.
have like a 1.5 long flip over.
I call this the zap.
Yeah.
Just don't. I have to sit in cars backwards so that when the windows go down, it blows my hair the
Push
right
it
way.
forward, yeah. Be
Why's
like,
that man driving backwards, Mom? I don't know. It's his hair.
That's what he does. Leave him alone.
Get a devil's peak like the Misfits. It comes down to the point in the middle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dancing.
All right. So, First Blood, we meet John J. Rambo, a drifter and Vietnam War vet, making his way to his old Army buddy's house, only to find that his buddy has since died of cancer. I guess brought on by Agent Orange.
Yep. Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, but Big G is finally getting money for that.
Is that right?
Yeah. However many years later, like they passed something a while back that says like non-vets get some sort of money from the Agent Orange.
I had no idea.
That's wild.
Good for him.
They sprayed that shit everywhere.
Shit. Yeah, that's worse than Roundup.
Yeah, it is.
It was everywhere.
They spray it in like just cockroaches. You just see cockroaches.
Look, man, you in the jungle, baby.
You're gonna die.
Continuing his travels, Rambo makes his way to his closest town, which is Hope, Washington, as David mentioned.
Yep.
The sheriff, Will Teasel, who is no fan of vagrants and hobos, collects him and drives him out of town.
Bums.
Bums, that's right. Attempting to make his way back into town, Rambo was arrested and charged with resisting arrest, vagrancy, and possessing a concealed knife. Like, seriously. Like, what? Like clear, there is not enough crime in this town to keep the cops otherwise occupied, right?
I was, very confused on this beginning. That what was the remark he made about? Now, I know there was an anti-war sentiment in the 60s. Was that continuing into the 80s? That still?
Well, I read a thing on that. Is they said the whole thing behind that is Sheriff Will Teasel. Is that how you say it? Will Teasel.
Yeah.
He was, if you look at on his desk and stuff, and he was a Korean vet.
Yep.
And I guess there was a lot of resentment towards like the Vietnam type era vets because the Korean War people got no type of credit.
Nobody who knew what the hell Korea was.
Right. But he made a comment about the flag. He's like, you don't want to walk through the town with that flag on your jacket. You're asking for trouble.
I heard that too.
So where was that coming from?
No idea.
Was there a
maybe he was a commie.
Yeah. See,
So-
that's the thing. I don't get that.
I get that only because it was filmed in Canada.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe you're right.
What are you doing, eh?
Hey,
Like, otherwise, I didn't get that either because like, I look at this town and I'm thinking,
who wouldn't love America?
yeah,
there?
in this town, everybody loves America, but it ends up being like this place, at least for Vietnam War vets, or at least for John J. Rambo, this is just like the deep South, but for white people.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of maybe the war vets and stuff. Maybe there was a lot of like there was a lot of like homeless and things like that because of all the shit they went through.
Bums.
Yeah.
So yeah, bums, hobos. So maybe he was like, we don't take kindly to your
Well,
type around
I did
here.
hear him say that when he was driving out of town. He kind of explained to him what it was all about.
Yeah.
But I didn't get like the townspeople. I could see where he's like that, but maybe he was just making it up.
I think this is
don't
I think it's a very overzealous sheriff speaking on
Right.
behalf of the townspeople that apparently he's just so far removed from
Right.
that he just doesn't want. And I get it. Look, if you don't want bums and vagrants walking around the town, that's great.
Right.
And he shoot him away, and that's fine. But I don't know. John Rambo had a chip on his shoulder, and he's like, "Well, fuck you. I'm walking back into town." Now that's the amazing part to me, where this guy just the sheriff just completely out of nowhere, completely abuses his power and says,
You're under arrest.
"You're under arrest. I'm taking you in. Here you go." Like that happened so quickly.
Mhm.
Like things escalated really, really quickly.
Well, it made me think of a past episode. Matt, you brought up taking him to the bridge. Remember we talked to Officer Vince about
That's
that?
right. Can you take somebody out of town?
Out of town to the bridge, and that's where you drop him off. Remember, I forget. I think it might have been on Luca Magnotta or whatever, the internet killer.
I think you're right.
And or we were talking about Beverly Hills Cop.
You've got a memory like a steel trap.
I do.
You do.
I do.
Steel trap.
And Officer Vince, he's if memory serves me, I think he said that there was no bridge like that or anything that they had. Or you asked him, I think, do you take Browns fans and Ravens fans to the bridge because they're up there and like Steeler fan,
right?
You know what I mean? But yeah, that was cool. He drives them across the bridge and is basically like continue on your way. Portland's that way, which is still probably how many miles away,
Right?
And all this guy wants to get is like a hot meal.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's just walking through town. He's not minding his own business. That's all he's doing.
Maybe it was because of the Rambo knife. Maybe the sheriff has never seen anything that cool in his life.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember I bought one of those at the Big M Market.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they had like the compass on the top, and you would unscrew it, and there was like matches in there, and like some fish hooks, some line. Like, it was very neat.
Hell
neat
yeah,
knife.
man.
I got to imagine sales went up after that.
Oh my gosh.
I got a fun fact on that one.
Yeah, I was going to say there is one, yeah.
All right. So while being booked, again, just picked up for walking through town, Rambo sees bars on the windows of the building and has a flashback from his time as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. Fingerprinted, beaten, and deloused, it's time for a shave, as the sheriff's office has taken it upon themselves to make sure he's suitable for his appearance in court the next day. Like, dude, court already?
Yeah, that was quick.
I mean, this is... Again, this whole story took quite an unfortunate turn rather quickly.
Like a night court type. I could see in a small town, like, they call the judge because nothing ever really happens there. You've seen that place.
This is some My Cousin Vinny shit.
I mean, the movie's an hour and a half, and they had you hating these guys after 5 minutes.
That's fair.
And it was like
They did their job.
They did their job because I'm like, fuck these guys. I can't believe they're beating the shit out of this guy for nothing.
Well, the delouse thing too. They just smacking him with smack, turn around, smack.
It was like hazing and shit.
Oh my God, yeah. You could. So again, I mentioned earlier the concept of this is the Deep South, but they're just instead just beating on white people. The one sheriff actually sounded like he was from the South. Art Galt, the one deputy with the deputy with the big beer belly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, fuck him.
You'll get yours, Galty.
Anyways, being approached with the razor triggers another POW flashback for Rambo, and he snaps. An intense fight scene with every deputy in the building commences as Rambo fights his way out of the sheriff's office, being sure to grab his trusty knife on the way out. After escaping the sheriff's office, Rambo clotheslines a motorcyclist on the street, takes his dirt bike, and makes his way into the woods and mountain range after an intense chase by the sheriff himself. Did anyone notice that Stallone was probably better suited for boxing as Rocky than he was for hand-to-hand combat? Like, I just thought some of the fight scenes were kind of
like cheesy, or
they were cheesy. Like the stunt doubles or the whatever, it was a little cheesy.
They're pretty much 80s fight scenes.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the chase scene and all that, which we'll get into
for sure.
The motorcycle chase,
right?
The motorcycle with the thing. I just like the guy. I love that Rambo is standing in the middle of the street and he's doing readies. Waiting for somebody to come by. The guy to come by. And he just clotheslines the damn motorcycle dude.
Yeah, like that whole sequence of scenes there. I was like, man, these are like pretty good like action sequences for 1982.
I wholeheartedly agree.
A lot of times you'll watch like those older movies and be like, man, this is really bad.
Yeah,
they put some good money, or whoever did the stunt scenes did an awesome job.
Yeah, the car scene, the bike scene, all of that was great. And then him going into the woods, that was great. Mm-hmm. It was just for me. I don't know. It was the like you could see the punch thrown and it completely widely missed the guy's face, but he would fall over.
Right. This
is just with the deputies in the sheriff's office.
Those cop cars were a Ford of some kind. Was that an LTD or what?
I would say yeah. I would definitely say it was probably an LTD.
Yeah. Were they the berries?
What's that?
Yes, they were berries. Yes, they were berries.
Oh, with the little thing on top.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
they had a red one on one side and a blue on the other.
What did I just watch that some kid made a cop car like that for somebody as a gift and put like a thing on top, and that's where I heard that term berry. There was a movie or a show or something I just watched recently.
I first heard the term berry from an Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, exactly. That's what they used to call him in L.A.
Oh, there's something I watched where a little kid like gifted somebody a police car and it had the little berry on top, and I was and he was like, oh, there's a berry, and that's where I heard that, but I didn't put that together when you asked that. Now you said that, it makes sense.
What I've noticed about these movies too is like Rambo is the like 80s, 70s, 80s fight scenes. A man could really take a punch back then.
Hell yeah,
big time. Yeah.
Because I could imagine getting hit like that.
No,
Like, you'd be
hell no.
out, man. You're laying on the ground.
And look,
Right.
let's not forget that Stallone was pretty dieseled. I mean, his
Oh, yeah. He was chiseled up. He was on the juice, man.
for
Yeah,
sure
it
he
was.
had some muscles to him. So after the scene, or after the chase and the everything, so Rambo makes his way to that the abandoned mine, and it's like a scrapyard or some shit
Right.
place on the mountain. He sees all this equipment around him. It's all, I get it, it's all done and it's trash. Why did he take that tarp and cut it up into a poncho?
I think just for warmth.
Because it was raining. Yeah, he was freezing.
Just like warmth.
Okay,
'Cause it
not
was
like
cold.
camouflage. It was just he made
No,
himself a
he was just
raincoat.
cold. Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
a little bit of both, actually. I guess it could have been camo and also that like warm his core because he
Makes
was
sense.
like in a tank top out there.
He was a muscle shirt.
It was
Yeah.
cold.
No, it was a wife beater.
White beater.
Yeah,
black
tank
white
top. Yep,
beater,
yep. All right. Well, now on foot in the woods, Rambo is hunted by every officer and deputy in the sheriff's office, along with a local who owns hunting dogs.
Yeah, Dobermans.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That local was, I guess that was Orville Kellerman.
yeah.
He's the only one on my list who's not a deputy or a sheriff or a colonel or somebody in the military.
Big Orville.
P.S. This guy was not just on foot, but he was also being chased by a helicopter.
Which they got some money
For
small town.
that
Yeah.
quick dispatch, that was
Yes.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That lifeline don't even get up that fast.
Not
man.
even close. Well, the deputy in that helicopter just happens to be the one who hates Rambo the most, Sergeant Art Galt. That's the one with the big belly.
He's
Mhm.
the one that comes from the South, kind of.
The
Yeah.
deep south. A nail-biting scene commences. While descending the rock face of a vertical mountainside, Rambo chooses to jump from its heights after having been the target of Sergeant Galt's gunshots. The limbs of pine trees break his fall while Galt continues shooting. Rambo, now on the ground, retaliates by throwing a rock at the helicopter, which spooks the pilot and causes Galt to fall to his death from the helicopter to the rocky creek bed below. And now, Rambo's got himself a rifle. That, and the deputy's CB radio. Sheriff Teasel and the deputies arrive at the top of the cliff and find the scene below. Rambo screams his innocence, insisting it was an accident and that he doesn't want any more trouble. Despite the deputies warning the sheriff of Rambo's prowess as a battle-hardened Green Beret, the sheriff is committed to capturing Rambo, one way or another.
Now, see, this scene pretty much is one of the reasons, like, I think this movie is so good.
Yeah.
Because it would be exactly like the small town never has any trouble. You got a guy running, like you said, they're calling like the helicopters in. These guys are shooting all over the place. They're calling some guy with the dog. Like, it's kind of like a Keystone Cops type of thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they know what to do.
Right.
No, it is. It's like they're like, yeah, the guy falls from the helicopter. You got guys shooting everywhere. Dogs are running around.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's like
You could
this
tell
craziness is ensuing because they have no idea what they're like. Let's try this. Let's do this.
Yep.
You can tell they never addressed an issue like this.
Yeah, or like
before.
training or
Like,
anything. It's like something I would think would actually like take place at this time.
This
Right.
tells me they've done their job well at keeping the bums and vagrants out of town.
Right. They just
Because
picked the wrong guy.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty graphic when he fell out and the body's laying there on the rocks and he's looking him in the face. He picks him up and he's like staring him in his face.
Yeah.
That art.
I was waiting
Well-
for him to start talking back, but no, he was
Yeah.
looking at his dead face and dead
Yeah.
body.
And he took his jacket off.
He took his
He's gonna
jacket off.
use that, you know what I mean? So it's like a video game. He's picking up like bonus stuff as he
Caches.
goes. Like, let me get this guy's gun. Let me get a jacket.
Sure, absolutely. It's a classic video game. Look, not
Well, he
for
has a
nothing.
Green Beret.
He
True.
was a Green Beret, such a Green Beret that he was able to sew himself shut. So that big
Oh, that was nasty.
that
yeah.
gash in his arm. Look,
Yeah.
not for nothing. That was, I thought, amazing special effects on Rambo's arm.
Yeah.
Like that was a good. Like it was still pumping blood out of it.
Looked good.
I thought it was a great job.
Yeah, for sure. I
Great
think
job
so.
on the special effects. All right, well, the chase continues. Rambo, who's no stranger to the wilderness, sets a number of booby traps, which kill the dogs being used to locate him. He also had that set up that scarecrow
Mhm.
where so they could empty a bunch of rounds.
Yeah.
As the hunt progresses, Rambo subdues each of the deputies one by one. Again, subdues. He did not kill them.
Incapacity.
He did not kill the deputies. I noticed, I guess this could have gone one way or the other, but the movie tells me it did go the right way. Was the leg stab to the first deputy, was that a good idea? Because, like, on one hand, it brought attention to his location, but he was, in doing so, he was able to bring the hunters like into his lair, right?
Like
into
a
his
trap.
traps.
Yeah.
But what kind of made me like, as I watched this again, thinking about it, it's like, what kind of time did he have to make
Set
these
all that up.
these
Yeah.
contraptions? I was like, there's no. It's like one of those fantasy movies. You're
It's like
come on, man.
it's like Stallone alone.
That's right.
yeah, that's good. I like that.
I had the same question. In fact, I have it written down. So
okay.
No. Matt, I'm right on point and page with you. Like, how did this guy, the second deputy, as he's going to chase after the one that was screaming after getting stabbed in the leg, he gets this turnstile rack of spikes in his leg. Like, how did he do that so quickly?
But it's like one of those what are those machines called, like they had in Pee Wee Herman when he made breakfast? It's a Jewish name. Yeah, it's going to drive me nuts. But it was like one of those style like type things. It's like this hits this, which hits this, which a little like piece of rain falls off a leaf.
It's like a mousetrap.
Yeah, everything falls into
I was like, come on, how much time did this guy? There's dogs pursuing you, but you got time to make
Rube Goldberg.
Rube Goldberg.
Thank
That's
you.
what it is. Yeah.
Boom.
Rube
Bam.
Goldberg. Nice.
But yeah,
All
I just found it comical.
Well, after the deputies, Rambo ultimately gets the drop on Sheriff Teasel himself, whom he captures and threatens further losses if they don't let him go. So look, man, this is easy. Rambo got all these guys. It's like, look, man, just leave me the hell alone. Just let me get out of here. Just leave me alone. However, I would agree that once you start inflicting some pain and damage to deputies, that you're not going to be able to negotiate your way out of that one.
Yeah, they're gonna just keep coming.
Yeah, the guy got spikes to the leg. Guys are falling in pits,
How
man.
did he set that thing up so damn quickly?
What was he digging the thing with on the one too? They're like falling to the spikes. Like, how did he dig that out already?
Yeah.
Come on, Rambo.
Again, it's an hour and a half.
Yes.
They had to, you know what I mean?
That's fair. Look, there it is, Dave, the voice of reason. Like,
Yeah.
look,
Thanks,
just
Dave.
suspend.
disbelief.
There you
yeah.
go. Just let it
It's
go.
a movie. It's a movie.
Entertaining as hell.
Awesome movie. I'm glad, Matt. I'm glad you picked this one. I really am.
It was a really good one.
Good.
So by now, well over 100 Washington State Police and National Guardsmen are called to the scene. P.S. On that scene, that reporter on the scene, that fake news was awful. Like, I just wanted to punch through the screen. That reporter's there, and he's, this Rambo, the John J. Rambo, who allegedly killed a deputy and attempted to kill 6 others.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. What do you know? All he knew was, I'm guessing, what Sheriff, what's his
sheriff
jack off was telling Teasel,
Yeah, Teasel.
whatever. Fake news, awful.
Mm-hmm.
Included in this throng of police and National Guardsmen is Colonel Troutman, Rambo's former recruiting, training, and commanding officer.
Oh, he's just well-rounded with John Jay.
He brought him in. He walked him all the way through. He warns the sheriff of Rambo's capabilities in hopes of convincing him to let him go. As he's having this, come to Jesus moment with the sheriff. Like, look, man, I know this guy. You've got nothing on this guy. He's going to continue as long as you do. So just let him go.
What was the cool line he had about something about
he was born to kill, I made him,
or something. It was something along those lines, kind of like they were talking, and he turned around and he's there, and he's like, "Because I made him."
That's right. It's like,
that.
Hey, do you know him? I made him.
Yeah, something like that. It was cool.
Well, he I guess he was like trying to show that in the military like that, these Green Berets are they're different. They're not right. Like you and I. I had to make him this way in order for him to be who he is, and you don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, he knows firsthand.
He's like the Incredible Hulk, but he doesn't turn green.
With that scene too, when they set up that little like the tent village and stuff, just like the way like how cold it looked there, the rain, like that whole situation, I thought was really neat too. Like if you look into movies,
Right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, I mean, they set it up as a what's that called when you first treat a wound? It's called
my melange.
Yeah, it's like
triage.
Triage. Thank you.
Triage,
They just set up this instant village. Like, hey, we gotta go get this guy. Everybody, all hands on deck. Let's go.
All for one guy. That's just
one dude.
crazy,
It's not just one dude. It's John Rambo.
John Rambo, yeah.
Troutman puts forth the idea of putting. Oh shit! I forgot to mention. the cutscene of Rambo killing that wild boar,
Jumping off the tree.
dude. That guy was awesome, awesome. Like that's why that's why kids like us grew up loving these guys, because this was a man's man. This guy was a woodsman,
right?
A killer, just
everything,
man.
Yeah, it was pretty realistic up to that part where you're just like, okay, I guess he was hungry.
He could kill a boar.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's boars everywhere running around there, you know?
He's the type guy eats an apple with a knife, like cuts it, takes a bite off
keeps
the blade.
it with his thumb. Yeah, that's a man's man.
Like he should have caught like a frog or something. That would have been more believable.
The only thing that would have made him
fishing.
cooler is if he would have smoked Marlboro cigarettes.
Right. I'll be out there eating berries and
picking berries. Do.
Like, I wonder if this plant's any good. This
I'll
flower
try
here.
it. Yeah.
Man, I need to recharge my phone.
Hey, look, somebody left a Snickers here I've eaten.
Awesome.
Speaking of recharge your phone, this has nothing to do with the story. Megan was showing me on one of those TikToks or something the other day.
Yeah.
Like this guy bought these, like they look like fake outlets. And he was going around in like the airports putting them everywhere.
That's awesome.
I was like, that's fantastic.
That is pretty cool.
I just had the conversation the other day that if push came to shove, my wife would probably unplug the life support for me to charge
her phone. Yeah.
All right. Troutman puts forth the idea of putting out an APB and letting Rambo make his way on his own to the next town that he might come across, and then just be at the ready to apprehend him there. But Teasel wants no part of this plan. He insists that the hunt continue. He attempts to reach Rambo via his CB radio, but fails until Troutman steps in. That night, while Rambo enjoys his roasted pork at the fireside, Troutman gets through to him and tries to convince him to surrender. Rambo will have no part of this, as he informs Troutman of the officers' abuses of their power and that they were the ones to draw first blood.
You're like, they're all dead, Colonel.
So that was, dude, not for nothing. That was
Sanchez.
shitty. I thought that was real shitty of the Colonel to start messing around with Rambo's mind when he got on the radio. Like the Colonel, I guess the Colonel is believing, okay, Rambo's in flashback mode right now.
So he thinks his friends are here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can keep him believing that he's in some kind of weird place in his mind, I'm going to pretend to talk to him like he's still in theater, like he's still in the jungle back in Nam.
Right.
So I'm going to start rattling off all of these names of his friends who are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then his come in, please come in, over. I thought that was shitty.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
just playing with the guy's emotions, man.
But then he's also trying to end this peacefully if he can. I don't know. I get where you're coming from, though. Yeah.
He is living in a mine. He just like jumped off a tree and killed a boar with his knife. So he's pretty much in flashback.
He's a man.
I think the best bet would have, like he said, just let him be. We'll end up somewhere in a couple days, and then we'll get him then.
But technically, honestly, to this point, he hasn't done anything.
No, you're right. I mean, but they want to pin that
the guy falling,
plane,
but they did that to themselves.
Right.
He didn't do anything. That's why Rambo's like, I didn't. What did these guys want from me?
All he did was throw a rock.
I'm still rooting for him at this point.
Hell yeah, man! I'm on Team Rambo.
Yeah.
The next morning, the hunt continues. Even some local hunters have volunteered to join the swarm. Rambo makes his way to an abandoned mine shaft, using the shelter as a cover. And he's now out of bullets and cornered by the Washington National Guardsmen. Having received no signs of surrender from Rambo, the Guardsmen fire a rocket launcher at the structure atop the mine shaft, destroying the structure and leaving Rambo for dead. Or is he?
Another great part of this film too is because those guys had no idea again. Like it's the National Guard in Oregon or wherever the hell they're at.
The guy carrying the bazooka rocket launcher looked like fucking radar from MASH.
I thought for sure it was going to fire backwards or something.
Yeah,
correct. One of those ones where they just don't know how to use anything.
These guys were weekend National Guard warriors.
Exactly.
Whatever.
And they had no like gravity of the situation. So they're just there being like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. We get to blow something up finally.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one guy was like, I got to get to work tomorrow.
But dude, they were taking pics. They were taking pictures of themselves over top of the rubble.
Yeah. That's like shit we would do for promo stuff. You know what I mean?
Precisely.
Like, but yeah, they're just, they're there thinking it's just like a party.
But what is that called?
Real.
Like the cinematography, what would that be considered?
Of what?
Like the scene, like if you're like talking like Oscars, what is that?
The cinematography, the scenery or the, I know what you're
whatever. Just is a really good part of this movie.
Well, hell no, this guy isn't dead, of course, but Teasel and Troutman believe him to be. Well, at least Teasel does. And again, let's according to Teasel, as far as Teasel knows, Rambo killed his deputy. Somehow, some way, Rambo got out and up into a helicopter, pulled his deputy out of it, and killed him. But whatever. Nonetheless, Troutman reminds him that, Rambo had a tough time in Nam.
But didn't he throw a rock, though, at the...
Correct.
Yeah.
He did. He threw a rock at the window.
Yeah.
Which distracted the pilot, and as the pilot swung hard left...
flew him out, I got you, yeah.
In his defense, he was getting shot at.
Yeah,
True.
Let's
He's
not forget.
hanging on there, like, with no weapon, and they're shooting at him. You're right.
He brought rocks to a gunfight.
What's his... Yeah, that deputy jerk-off he just had it out for Rambo from the gate. The guy from the South.
Yeah.
Anyway, later that night... Teasel and Troutman discuss the differences in their perspectives on Rambo over a drink. But meanwhile, Rambo is alive, and he traverses his way through the depths and out of the mine shaft. So,
yeah, that part
he lives.
Yeah, that part there too. Like for me, I'm claustrophobic, so watching that, I was like, man, I couldn't even imagine. Well, come to find out in the fun facts, which I'll just say it now, but like Rambo, Stallone is actually claustrophobic as well.
Had no idea.
I don't know where they filmed that at, if they were actually in caves. I mean, some of the scenes look like there were some parts where it was real tight, where the water was up around his,
They, you can do it.
Yeah, they made it look like that. There was probably plenty of room in there.
Yeah,
right.
he's at worst, he's crawling into something that's no deeper than one of those scans you get on your body where it's all clicky in there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. CTE. No, CTE is I know what you're talking about.
It's not a CT scan. It's the thing where you go in and
MRI.
Thank you, MRI.
Yeah.
It's all clicking all the time.
Did you guys see that? It was a true story about that soccer team that got caught in those mines that got flooded.
Yeah, and they had to swim. Like,
I did watch that.
Can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine
wow.
that?
Yeah,
Can you imagine?
That's what I'd have to be out.
You don't even know
for that.
Well, that's what they're saying. They had to knock the kids out because there was no way that they would be able, a regular person, to do that.
Yeah,
they would just flip out. Man.
That was pretty smart. That was really smart, actually.
So those rats as well that were down there, he was getting those were that was for real, and he actually had to go get tetanus shots.
Tetanus,
because they were scratching and biting, and he said they were like pretty docile until you get them in the water.
Well, until you get them near water with flame around them.
Yeah, true.
Because he was walking around there with a torch.
Right,
rats.
That was a cool makeshift torch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ghosts. Yeah, that's a good jam. He had that makeshift torch. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. He kept the fuel going just by wrapping more cloth around it.
Right.
Because he dipped it, like the water was already like all gassed up.
Yeah.
Right. They're oily or something.
Is that what that bucket was?
Yeah, I figured of some kind of like,
I thought
gas
I thought it was water. Okay.
This is stuff he found. Well, in the water in the mine had enough. Yeah, had enough. Just, I guess, from when they did their shit in there.
Right.
Enough gas or oil, whatever, to get the thing ignited.
Well, so Rambo's out of the shaft.
John Shaft.
Well, we was too. With all of the action now over, the state police and National Guardsmen make their way away from the scene, just as Rambo hijacks one of their military trucks. After a short-lived police chase, Rambo makes his way back to town. No. Did you see the way that all the trucks drive by, he jumps on top of that last one, and just kicks that dude the hell out of there.
He's like, what's your name? Yeah, and then he kicks him out.
There's a thing that cops can do. I guess any one of us can do it, but they are trained to do it. That as a vehicle's in motion, you can, if you hit one of the rear quarters, like from the side, and you start like pulling into the vehicle, you will make that vehicle spin out.
Flip out. Oh, spin out. Okay.
Absolutely. So, that was him with that army vehicle, and the cops ended up getting in front of him. That he just was able to just spin him out because you just know. Again, a rear quarter panel or a rear corner, like where the bumper meets the side, you can spin somebody the hell out.
That's why all the cop vehicles have those. What are they cattle? What do they call them? Cattle
pushers,
like the push on the front.
Push bars those push bars all on the front of their cars. If you see any of the newer police cars, they all have them. Yeah, and that's just to do what Zap said, to flip you around like that.
Yep.
I'll ask Officer Vince. Will let us know if they can do that. If that's if they're trained on that or whatever. Yep. I'm curious about that.
Can we call him the original OV?
The OV, the OGOV, yeah.
OGOV.
That's right.
Also, I wanted to mention, I was a little disappointed in that explosion because we're talking now about the special effects. We have been. I was a little disappointed at the
gas station one.
The extent of the explosion when Rambo forced that police car off of the road and it ended up hitting a parked car.
It's like a Simpsons explosion.
Correct. That's exactly the first thing I thought was a Simpsons explosion.
Me also.
Speaking of that gas station now, at his first stop, a local gas station, Rambo finds a sizable machine gun and plenty of ammo in the back of that military vehicle. Now well armed, his first act of retaliation is blowing up that gas station and the vehicle that got him there. But was it retaliation, though, or was it instead distraction?
In a cut scene there, Zab, he left a pack of Marlboro Menthols. He grabbed a pack and put it in his pocket.
Stop.
Yeah,
It
for
was
real?
stop.
Yeah, it was a cut scene.
It was. Oh,
It was on the cutting room floor.
I can't believe it didn't make its way.
Was there smoking in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember a part.
Rambo didn't smoke. Oh, Troutman smoked cigars in the bar.
That's right. Okay.
And there was like, I think, the guardsmen couldn't be smoking while they were in the tent.
No, one of the policemen was smoking while they were on the mountaintop.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, look, this is 82. Everybody smoked. You could smoke in church.
Also, I think there was only like 3 women in this whole movie.
I was going to mention that, too. There was not a love interest in this movie. Another reason why it's truly an action movie.
I
Yeah.
don't think there was any time unless he found one like in the mine or something.
Right. Yeah.
Or out in the woods.
There was a whole night scene we missed.
Yeah.
True.
We don't know what he would have done with the rest of that pig.
That's right. Yeah.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Never know.
Anyway, so there's a part where I guess the sheriff says to Troutman, like, you knew he was alive, right? You knew he was somehow still alive. That's why you're still around. And then Troutman has a basically "I told you so" moment with the sheriff, like right there at the bar. All the while, Rambo's making his way further into town. Rambo's well-planned efforts at exacting his revenge while distracting authorities to other locations continue. What's he do? He cuts power to most of the town by shooting up a transformer atop a telephone pole. He destroys a local sporting goods store by dumping as much fuel, gunpowder, and bullets he can find therein and setting it ablaze. I hate this special effect. With bullets from his machine gun. No, that does not happen.
No.
But whatever.
What's with the transformer too? Would that have knocked out all the power in town? One transformer?
So a transformer is going to do a couple of blocks, and if the town is that small,
Okay, yeah, it was a small town. So
maybe
all right.
Yeah.
that could have been like the source. Like, we only need a transformer this bit, or 2 transformers. They were right next to each other. We only need these 2, and this is going to power what we need in this 2-block town.
Because in the 80s, before the internet, like, we would believe that shit, but like a guy that works on transformers would be like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
That's a bit of a Decepticon. I think.
Yeah.
Could nice.
That was a transformation.
Wow. I thought that was like a Pac-Man
A gobble.
or like an evil Fozzie Bear.
I thought he was with that pig.
Waka waka.
Squeal.
Yeah.
Waka, waka, waka.
Squeal for me. Rambo goes on to shoot up the sheriff's station, where Teasel had made his way to the roof by now. Rambo's got Teasel now, shooting at him through the ceiling and causing Teasel to fall into the building through the sizable glass skylight.
Yeah.
Like Snoop Dogg. For Teasel, my Easel.
For yeah, right. That was
was good.
one of those like 80s skylights you see at the mall or something.
Yeah.
What?
Huge
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I thought they were at Boscov's or something.
Absolutely.
No, Harrisburg East Mall had one
They
of
had
those.
them in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did.
Let light in.
They had that big fountain too.
They
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
No more.
No.
Nope. No
Alas.
more.
It's a sad
Leather. You brought up that.
Wilson's
funny.
leather. That's right.
That's still there.
It's still there.
The
Still
leathers-
there.
the
The guy
leather's still
was
there.
at work today. That and the place that sells the gold jewelry. That's not really gold.
They'll never go away.
Nope.
Oh, first impressions? Some kind of weird impressions?
Oh,
That's
at
where
the
they
mall.
would, they would carve, they would personalize your jewelry. So you could
Yeah.
get
Mhm.
Zippos or chains or pendants.
Oh shit, Zach. We went.
pendants.
all of our buddies went through that stage.
Yeah.
Remember the whole Zippo thing? You get like cool shit on them.
Written
Hell yeah.
into it,
Yeah. I don't know how many Zippos I've lost.
Mm.
We buy gold.
A lot.
on
We
our
buy
store.
gold there. Yeah.
Just as Rambo is about to give Teasel his final goodbyes, Troutman arrives and attempts to calm his anger. Now, this is great. I listen to this radio show every morning, and they radio shows are going to reuse quotes, right, all the time, and, sound bites.
Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah, the nothing is over.
Oh,
They use it almost every day. Nothing is over.
I thought you were going to the
Troutman is Karate Kid.
No, it's over, Johnny. It's over. It was I think it was in that same scene.
Yeah, it's over, Johnny. It's over. He said nothing is over.
That's it. Yeah.
Nothing is over.
The back and forth between Rambo and Troutman explains much of Rambo's rage.
Yeah.
Now let's all remember, the war sucked.
Mhm.
All of his war buddies are dead, mostly from combat. He and so many other vets were shunned when they returned from Vietnam. He was responsible for so much during the war. I'm talking about equipments, lives, all kind of stuff. But back home, he couldn't even hold a job.
Yeah, he was saying like $1 million equipment. He was
$1 million equipment
Yeah.
and people's lives.
Mhm.
And his friend Joe, Jesus, this was the worst one. His friend Joe, who died at a bar one night due to an exploding shoe shine box.
Hey, Joe, go get your fucking shine box.
Yeah.
But his bits were landing all over Rambo, and I can't find your legs. Where are your legs? That was a sad story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm.
This hit differently as watching it at my age now.
Dude, it did. Like
Yeah,
I felt I was saddened by the time this was getting to where it got.
Big time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was such a good movie. Until I watched it later.
It's a great movie.
It really is. I'm reminded now that why it's so important to when you see somebody with a Vietnam vet, when you see any Vietnam vet, and you see him, the first thing you say is welcome home.
Yeah.
Like that is a must. And I don't understand why these guys got shit on as much as they did. I just don't.
What was the politics at the time?
Politics.
It was a political,
fake
what are we
news,
doing over
terrible
there?
media.
Yeah.
Plus everybody was singing about, 5, 6, 7, open up the pearly gates, all that
that's
shit.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We covered it a little bit, talked about it a little bit in Manson.
Goddamned hippies.
And yeah, like these kids are in college and they're like, yeah, man, like we're gonna, they think they're gonna change it and they know everything.
Yeah, man.
Like they think they know everything, and that's what happens. Like
War is bad, man.
you're 18, 19 years old, you go to college, all of a sudden you're like,
You think you know everything.
You're worldly now, you know everything, and
Right.
it's like that's not always the case.
No.
You know what
Go
I mean?
get a job. I'll tell you, you don't know nothing.
Well, a lot of these kids came from nothing that all got sent to these wars at the time. They were all
Also
just
true.
drafted right into it because they
Right.
couldn't afford to go to college.
Mhm.
They went from, small town, any small town Americas where all the kids, there was no kids like that had any money or anything growing up that were like, oh, I'm here in
If you weren't
the
rich
middle of
enough
Vietnam.
to get out of it,
Yep.
get out of service,
Yep.
you were gone. And it is very sad. This movie actually like really hit me with that. I'm like, man, and I would have never thought that as a kid or even
No.
got the concept. I was just like
No.
the action or whatever, which I don't remember seeing all these parts, but
Well, Rambo's had enough. He's done enough. Venting his frustration to the listening ear of Troutman has helped to calm him and diffuse the situation. Our movie ends with Rambo surrendering to the authorities, while bitch-ass Teasel is driven away in an ambulance.
yeah. No, I don't remember the second one as much as I didn't remember the first one. So was he a return character, Dennehy, or was that it?
No, then he was done.
He was
He was done after this.
I think in the second one, it was only Rambo and Troutman, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. And then the third one, they're like in some Asian town. Then like the fourth one, they're
Rambo goes to New York.
no, the fourth, like I think they're in like Iraq.
Yeah, because I think I did read in the fun facts this was the only one on U.S. soil or whatever, something like that. Is that true?
Mm.
I don't know.
If anybody has like the first one and the last one, it's just called Rambo was excellent.
That's why I'm going to check that out.
Fun facts.
Oh, sounds like we're about to get into that.
Oh, we are. I remember watching the shit out of this cartoon as a kid. The cartoon came out after Rambo 2.
Wait, there was a Rambo cartoon?
Oh, shit, yeah. Absolutely there was a
remember
cartoon.
Huh?
I didn't know that.
Oh, my God, yeah. You two never watched the
was it voiced by
cartoon?
Stallone, or like was it some dude like me? Oh yeah, this is a good time to fight,
I mean, so G.I. Joe was a great cartoon.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
G.I. Joe, I've watched
Well,
every episode.
I mean, if it worked for G.I. Joe, the fine people in cartoon world said, well, let's give Rambo a
Was
shot.
it like a Saturday morning cartoon?
I think it was an after-school cartoon.
It was like a Saturday night cartoon.
There was a distinct difference. Well,
It was on TGI Friday, but it was like
Come on
TGI Tuesday morning.
Come on now. So we know things like Thundercats,
Oh,
G.I. Joe,
Yep.
Real American Hero.
Transformers, I think.
More than meets
and
the eye.
a few other ones were
Voltron.
He-Man. Those were
Voltron that was fantastic.
those were after-school cartoons versus your Saturday morning
You mean the ones that
cartoons.
come on like 3:00?
Correct.
Okay, I remember those.
Rambo was one of those.
Shit,
I thought it
didn't
was
know
a
that.
Saturday morning. Now that I think of it,
I would think I'm gonna wager you're wrong.
I have no memory of a Rambo cartoon.
Well,
I want to look it up though.
no, I think I'm looking at it right now. I think John's right.
hell yeah, he's right.
Ram. Oh, there's one called Ram Bro.
Is that a blaxploitation? Is that some kind of sex?
It really is a Rambo cartoon. And there's Troutman.
Correct.
some young girl and some guy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You're welcome, America.
How about
Yeah.
that?
Cash me outside.
It's
How about
called
that?
Rambo: The Force of Freedom,
Hell yeah.
Nice.
1986.
I mean, he was huge, and the movie was huge, so I can see where he capitalized on that.
Hell yeah.
And this is back when, like, kids. I would watch. Kids would watch movies like that. You know what I mean?
It was on after Silverhawk. I don't know if you guys remember that Silverhawks.
Dude, loved
Yeah.
Silverhawks.
Yeah.
Love Silverhawks.
And Voltron was after.
Yeah.
I don't remember watching Rambo.
No, me neither. That's pretty wild, though.
Awesome, good fact. That was a fun fact to end all fun facts.
Silverhawks, partly metal, partly real.
Yeah.
Oh man, love that one. Love that one. Oh, so we were talking about this earlier, and since we're now in fun fact land, so the term Rambo knife, and I remember as a kid, the only knife in the world, the only name for any knife in the world was Rambo knife.
Mm-hmm.
That became the synonymous generic term for survival knife. Much like I think we've talked about this before. When people use the term Kleenex when they just want a tissue, when people use the term Q-tip when they're talking about a cotton swab.
Mm-hmm.
Rambo knife became the name for survival knife. Now, Rambo's knife, in fact, that survival knife was standard issue for soldiers in Vietnam. It included, inside the handle, fishing lures, needles, thread, matches, and a small surgical knife. It had a compass on the inside of the butt of the handle and a Phillips head screwdriver and flathead screwdriver on the blade guard at the base.
Just in
of
case
the knife.
there's any screws out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Taking something apart, trying to take a
Getting in between something.
Yeah.
It was a
It
fantastic
was like
knife.
a Swiss Army knife.
That blade was
better.
huge.
Mhm.
That was massive.
There were 13 teeth on the saw part,
Grr.
the saw end of the blade.
Mm.
Anyways, Rambo knife, common terminology when we were kids.
So I didn't know this, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. I don't really know what he had out before this other than Rocky. This was the first non-Rocky movie which didn't bomb for Stallone. Up till then, I don't.
I'd heard somebody mention that. It might have been, was it Matt? Matt might have mentioned it in the synopsis. And I was thinking, what the hell did he do between Rocky and this?
He was in one, like he was like a greaser. There was a bunch of people in it.
It wasn't Cobra.
No,
No,
that
was
was
later.
Oh man, we should do that.
That was
one.
like late 80s, 89 maybe. Also, during the filming of this, there was a truck that had like 50 or so firearms. It got stolen.
I had
missing.
that. So I had that as a fun fact as well. As chance would have it, so filming, as we know, was done in Canada.
Mhm.
So the weapons used in this movie had to be imported. Like they didn't have this shit sitting around.
They don't have, yeah.
So during filming, in fact, more than $50,000 worth of firearms were stolen from the set. That included, but was not limited to, 14 M16 rifles, 3 Remington shotguns, 2 .44 Magnum revolvers, and 11 Colt AR-15 rifles.
Damn.
This is the 80s. They're probably like,
Fuck
keep
it.
them. Yeah, it's part of they'll remember the movie through this.
Right.
It's okay.
Matt, what do you got? Fun fact.
I don't have any. I enjoy listening. The fun fact was me. Fun factually, this movie.
Well,
Yeah.
we're glad you brought this to us.
Yeah, it was definitely a good one. I enjoyed it.
So Dave mentioned that this book, in fact, this movie came from a book of the same name, and that name again is First Blood. So in the book, however, Rambo actually dies. He gets shot by Troutman, shot in the head by Troutman.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That would have ended a long line of money for Stallone.
Yeah, sure
He probably
would.
was like, "No, we're gonna take this part out.
yeah. We got to rewrite this in because I need sequels.
Nobody see this part. You never saw this."
Back on that knife zap, it says that it was designed by an Arkansan.
Yeah.
Knife maker Jimmy Lyle.
Hmm.
So I guess he's the one that designed it. And then there were a bunch of knockoffs after that, I'm sure, that people were making.
Those are the ones that Matt and I got
Yeah,
at the Big M.
Big
yeah,
M.
the Big M.
Yeah,
Yeah. He didn't like this movie either initially, Stallone, when they were done filming it. Shout out to Snowman guy. Listen, Sean. He
Thank
was
you.
telling me about it that I guess they had a rough cut of it, and he was like, this sucks, bury it, I don't want it out. And then they added music and different things to it and edited it down to a reasonable time, and then he loved it. He was like, all right, it's good.
Hour 33 was right on for this.
Yeah,
absolutely right on.
I think they said the scene out in the woods, like when they were chasing him, it was initially like 45, 50-minute scene.
Too much.
Yeah, it would have been too long.
Way too much.
That's like the Marlboro menthol scene.
Yeah, they cut that.
They had to cut
too.
that because he
I don't get
he
it.
caressed them.
I don't get it because that would have been great. Because he's like, oh man, if there was one thing that kept me cool while I was in, while I was
great
in Nam,
commercial.
it was those Marlboro menthols.
Actually, yeah, here it is. First cut was 3.5 hours and was a train wreck.
Did that include 2 hours of smoking Marlboro menthols?
There was a lot of that.
Why wasn't it called Rambo First Cut?
Oh,
Yeah. Seriously.
well,
should have did that.
for sure, Rambo wasn't in the name.
Well, yeah, shit. Damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
First Cut, part
you know
blood.
it's funky. Dave, you had mentioned how the script, or Stallone said the script sucked. As chance would have it, this movie the script was purchased, or the rights to it were purchased back in the early to mid 70s, obviously after the book came out.
Right.
And it changed a number of hands. It was owned by this guy, then Columbia owned it, then maybe Universal owned it, or whoever the hell owned it. But the script itself went through a number of rewrites before it became known, what we know and love. True to the book, Rambo died in the original versions of the script. Like, again, that's one that we just said, like, he's gonna, no, I need the possibility of sequels.
Yeah.
Actually, in one version, the roles, or the I should say the demeanors of Troutman and Teasel were flip-flopped. Like, Troutman was the asshole and Teasel was actually the nice guy.
That would have been cool.
Yeah,
that would have been different.
Neat to see.
It's amazing how things get changed around, and
It is.
This is actually a script, like, this was supposed to be Judge Dredd, but
I love Judge Dredd.
Did you like it?
God,
I
are you
loved it.
kidding me?
I remember I didn't like that.
That was like the hardest watch movie I've ever experienced in my life.
Sandra Bullock helped me to get me.
Oh,
helped me
yeah,
to
that
get through
does
that
help.
one.
That'll
Yeah.
help.
You put away that little helmet on or whatever they had.
Oh yeah.
She was so
for
fine.
for cuddle time.
God damn.
Yeah.
She just don't know.
So how about the
I liked her in Speed.
the people that you have? I know you got a list there.
I got a list I only have just Rambo.
So let's hear that.
So between all the rewrites and all the scripts changing hands over all that course of time, John Rambo could have been Robert De Niro,
No.
Clint Eastwood,
No.
Steve McQueen,
He was like 70 at the time.
James Caan,
Also 70.
Jimmy Conn, yeah.
Burt Reynolds,
No.
Robert Redford. No, I think Robert Redford would be too posh.
Yeah.
Like too sophisticated for that role.
Right.
Al Pacino.
Too Italian.
Easy. What was Ramboni?
Yeah.
Ramboni would have worked.
Al Pacino. Love a tender Ramboni.
My heart.
John Travolta.
My hair.
Watch the shoes.
He at least would have had the hair right.
Yeah.
Powers Booth.
Got to dance as
Who
well.
the hell is that?
Powers Booth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He had the mustache and
Yeah. So if you ever watch Deadwood, he played Cy Tolliver in Deadwood. He was a competing casino and gambling house and whorehouse owner against.
Never seen Deadwood.
Okay.
it's pretty
Powers
good.
Booth. That's it's just a cool name.
It is cool.
He was let's see. He was in Tombstone.
Yeah,
Which guy was he in Tombstone?
Okay. He was.
One of the bad guys.
Yeah, he was one of the bad guys. He had mustache. I'm
He had
trying,
the Stacy Keach look almost. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't know who that is, but I know who.
I'll look
Booth
up.
is.
I'll look up Powers Booth later.
He's cool as shit.
Cool.
Last three I have that could have been Rambo. Michael Douglas,
The last one is funny.
Nick Nolte, and Dustin Hoffman. Yes, Dustin Hoffman. Actually, it was offered to Dustin Hoffman. He turned it down.
What?
That swear to God. Dustin Hoffman said, fuck no.
That would have been wild to see him.
Why, Sheriff Teasel? Are you trying to seduce me?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been a good Rambo.
No. He would have been Radar, not
Yeah.
Rambo.
Yes. Yes.
So I also had on there, I don't know if you said Jeff Bridges.
Oh, no.
Yeah, who knows about these names though? Travolta, that was a wild one that you said. Chris Christopherson,
Okay.
which he was kind of hot back in the late 70s, I
Yeah.
guess. What was that one? Convoy or?
That's correct. Convoy is
in that?
absolutely correct.
He was in you know the show Alice with like Mel's Diner.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
He was in a movie called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. I just watched it the other day. It was
Which
on
has
Netflix.
nothing to do with Alice. Or does it?
It does. That's who the whole thing was based on. It's in Mel's Diner, and it has Flo and it has Vera
I know that.
and
Alice
Alice.
was played by Linda Lavin.
Okay, this Alice was played by oh my God, you know her if you've seen her.
It's
She was
fine. It's fine.
70 yeah. Anyway, it's a cool movie. You all should check it
So
out.
wait a second. Alice the show has something to do. It's like a continuation of Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
It's an offshoot of a movie called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Well, this will tell you that I've never seen the movie Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Well, that's where Chris Christopherson was the love interest in that movie.
For real?
Yeah.
Robert Ducky.
Mel Sharples, played by Vic Tayback.
So here are some ones for Colonel Sam Troutman, Jackie Mason, Milton Berle, and I don't know this name, Charles Nelson Riley.
Milton Berle.
Yeah. Briefly considered. You know what I'm saying? But they ended up going with Richard Crenna, I think, did a good job at it. And that was pretty much all the other names you mentioned I had as well, for except for the guy there at the end you were talking about.
John Travolta or Dustin Hoffman?
Hoffman I did not have. Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman turned it down.
Here's one that, like, I could not picture this guy playing Rambo, but Stallone gave the blessing.
John Zapp.
Maybe. No, I could see that. But I guess if he was ever to pass the baton, he would have Ryan Gosling play Rambo. Oh, God. And I just can't picture that.
No.
Is that the guy
he played Ken?
Barbie?
He played Ken on Ken and Barbie.
And he was
fuck no.
He was just dancing around on the Oscars and all that.
Fuck no.
But supposedly, I guess, when Ryan Gosling had said this when he was a kid, that movie put a spell on him. And he dressed like Rambo, went to school, would like pack knives in his... Like, he was saying he was taking knives to school, and he was in the character. He said, I'd go on vacation as Rambo. I lived Rambo.
Look, I could see him he would tap dance through the hall with like a knife.
Look, when we were in grade school,
gonna stab you.
When we were in grade school, it was absolutely fine to take that shit to school. And I can promise you that, because you would show it to the teacher, hey, look what I got.
For show and tell, maybe you could get away with it.
Yeah. You could bring in like a Rambo knife probably for show and tell.
Sure.
Yeah, or a buck knife, or a knife would pass. A gun, a little problem with that.
No, okay. Well, now, hold on. I can promise you that on my shore, the kids that were going to Cumberland Valley when we were growing up, they were showing up with their pickup trucks or whatever.
Okay, that's high school.
And they had their rifles like right behind them, right in the back.
Definitely. And even over here at like Central Dauphin East, they had kids from Dauphin that would do that, hunters and stuff. It wasn't a big deal.
Votech, a lot of hunters.
Yeah, but he said if he ever passed the baton, I'll pass it on to him because he loves the character.
Fuck no.
No, I don't want to see that. I can't really picture anybody stepping into that role.
They'll do Rambo like 30 years from now. They might do like a redo.
Is there any we
Rambo
about
Redux?
This. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chuck Norris, all these guys we're talking about. Great actors. Whenever they put a movie out back in the 80s,
I wouldn't
90s,
say they're great actors.
I should say great action. Great action stars. Is there anybody currently, not that we care about new movies, but a little bit, is there anybody currently that you think could carry on the tradition, or are we just dead with that? With action,
I think
stars?
everybody today that the stars are too. Is that Metro? Do people still say that?
Yes, they're still too. They're Metro. They're definitely too Metro.
Yeah,
nobody's manly anymore.
Yeah, there's not like.
There's not that. Yeah,
that look to somebody, or
I guess today
you might have to dig deep into shows like the motorcycle shows, or
Sons of Anarchy. That's
Sons of Anarchy. Like, there's definitely some badass dudes out there that are alive and like they exist. Like,
how about like Jason Statham?
He's too old now.
He's too old. That they consider that like toxic masculinity or whatever. It's like frowned upon when you act like that. Is that
That's
why?
right. That's right.
It's literally, honestly, it's
you're
like
not allowed to be a man anymore,
right? And it's just like you can't have movies like that, I guess, anymore. If you do, they gotta
toe the line,
tone it down a little bit. Like,
that's right.
You can't be too,
because eventually we should all be one gender.
I guess, but it just had me thinking about like. Those days are gone.
Was the show? It was like HBO show. It was like Suki.
True Stackhouse. Yeah.
True love.
There's a couple dudes.
True Blood.
Yeah, True Blood. There's a couple dudes in there that could be like some action stars. Like even that action star today, the Aquaman dude. He's just not.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I don't see him as like an action star kind of. He's like he's got like long hair or something. I don't know.
Well, even like the Rock. I mean, like
Rock doesn't count.
But then he'll do ones where he's like, singing and dancing and doing whatever.
I think Keanu Reeves is the last bastion of action heroes we have.
Yeah.
John Wick is cool,
but
but he's a different type of action hero.
We can sit here and talk about whatever and what we think and what we would hope, but it all comes down to whomever's the flavor of that month. It's really whomever Hollywood wants to push, or whomever they want to move to that next level.
To the next level,
Who's owed a favor, or who's, going to do this, that, or the other thing for the other guy. Like that's who we're going to see as the next thing. And again, I'm deeply saddened that we see this now, that the true action guys, that's not what's hip anymore.
There'll never be a Stallone or a Schwarzenegger.
Nope.
Ever. Those guys are their time is gone, and
right.
Yeah.
But I was just curious about that. I can't think of anybody, but I like watching these older movies.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we like to give a rating on our movies.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we say late fee, return, or burn. I guess, Matt, since it's your movie, why don't you start us off with
I guess, yeah, at the time seeing this when I was young, I would probably like, wow, this is a cool movie, because of like, they're like, people are chasing this dude and stuff like that. Today I'd watch it. I mean, we really wouldn't return it again, but if it was on Netflix or whatever, I'd watch it again. If that means like I would return it, but I'd watch it.
You return it?
Yeah.
I would actually, I'm going to late fee this.
Oh.
Because this was one that well, there again, I got to put myself back in.
That's right. You got to put yourself
today.
You don't have Netflix. You got one shot.
One opportunity.
Yes,
that's right.
You better lose yourself.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah. But I guess now, currently, I would late fee it. I loved it. I'm probably going to watch it again. I actually had to rent it, and I have a 48-hour rental, so I'm probably going to watch it again because it's short and it's great. But I would back then I probably would have returned it, I guess, because I was just a little kid when I saw it the first time, and I didn't get the all the other side stories going on with it. Really great movie, though. I'm glad you picked it, Matt. I
will harken back to what you had said, Dave. Really moved with the whole backstory of Rambo, and when I'm reminded now as an adult about shit that I did not at all know about as a kid, that the horrors and the torment and the life thereafter that our Vietnam vets went through, like, that was really fucking shitty. So that's I don't know. I think that for me was really a big draw, or would be a big draw for me to rewatch this movie as much as I could while I had it. I don't know if I would late fee it, but I would definitely begrudgingly return it.
Yeah.
After packing in as many watches as I could.
Yeah. I think we agree this is probably one of the better they held up move as far as holding up for me.
Time-wise, yeah.
For time-wise, I think this is one that I really, really enjoyed watching. I'm glad it was picked. So
because some of the ones we watch, they don't really, the time's different.
They don't grab.
Yeah, they don't because it's not, it's not relevant to like today.
Yeah, I love Weird Science, but it's not like I'm a teenager anymore watching Weird Science or whatever. So
that's right.
But this movie hit me because Rambo's younger than we are in this movie, but I don't know, I related. But
such great hair.
Definitely.
Son of a bitch.
Yep. So I guess we'll be back next week with another true crime and back to Vintage Cinema Review. You guys got anything else before we wrap this up?
I got nothing.
So don't forget to leave us a rating, 5-star rating. We would prefer. You can leave a written review on Apple, and we're always going to ask you to do that. It helps us out. I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for listening to The Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.